Alright everybody, in this one I'm gonna show you guys how to create those smooth sounding guitar beats all from scratch in FL Studio. You do not need to know how to play the guitar because we're gonna do everything using VST, so it's gonna fit for everybody. So I'm gonna break down both the melody and the drums in a step-by-step process. So let's not waste any more time, let's just jump straight in. Alright, so we are now here in FL Studio 21 as you guys can see. First things first, you want to open up a guitar VST. In this case, we're going to be using this picked acoustic guitar in Contact. Since we are going for more of that smooth and natural type of sound, I highly recommend going for either an acoustic guitar or an electric guitar. In this case, we're just using this one with all standard settings, so no changes done to this one. For the BPM, we're just going to start at 140, but we might switch it up a bit later on. Now, the scale we're going to be working in is actually going to be D minor, and our foundation is pretty much going to be that smooth sounding chord progression. So since we are working in a D minor scale, let's start off with a simple D minor chord. Now you have this triad, but we want to do one more step to it. So let us actually just copy this D5 and pitch it up one octave as well. So we have one at the D6 and one down here as well. Once we have this, we're just going to extend it all the way out here. And then we're just going to copy the same exact chord, but this time we're actually going to shorten it a little bit. And then we're going to do the same exact thing, just starting off with the C down here. So again, let's just make that triad chord like this. And then again, we're just going to copy that C up one octave as well. So this is going to be our first 4 bars. Now we are going to build off of this a little bit. So let's just copy this over again. But this time we're just going to pitch it down into the A sharp. We also want to make sure we pitch this C sharp up one semitone so it's inside the scale. And for the last part over here, we're pretty much going to do the same exact thing, just we're going to flip it. So what I mean by this is that we just want to copy this over just like we did on this part. Again, remember to shorten it. And this time we're just going to flip it so we have the C5 come back up again. This is pretty much going to be our chord progression. Now, obviously, since we are using a guitar, we don't want to have all the notes hit at the same exact time. So to make sure this sounds a little bit smoother, we're just going to strum out the notes a little bit. And I pretty much like to do this manually, so I'm just going to highlight some of the notes and move them to the side a little bit. Alright, so the first 4 bars is sounding like this. So as you guys can see, just to add some more movement, we're pretty much using the same exact notes from the chord. So this is the same D, we just pitched it up by 1 octave again. And then we just moved some of the notes, added the same notes yet again. As you can see, we also have some of the same notes just up 1 octave as well. So this is kind of the main trick you want to do when you're just adding some movement to the chord. Make sure to use a lot of the same notes just a little bit later in the chord progression. And for the smooth transition over here, you can see pretty much everything we're doing is just moving this A a little bit to the side. And then we also go in and make sure to strum the notes just so it sounds a little bit more realistic. Now with this first part then, we're pretty much going to do the same exact thing for the second part. So let's just start off by pitching this up 1 octave, move it slightly off grid, and then we're just going to move some of these notes as well. Right now for the effects on the guitar, we don't want to do too much. Like I said, we just want to keep the guitar pattern super authentic and simple. So the first thing we're going to add is going to be a CLA guitars. I'm just going to go over to the presets over here and I'm going to pick this acoustic shrunken preset. Next, we're just going to add a little bit of roam, so I'm turning it down to about 16%. Then we also have a little bit of RC20, so just putting it on the vinyl 3 preset and turning down the magnitude a little bit. Lastly, we just have an EQ, a little bit of saturation using J37, and also this imager just to widen out the sound. Alright, the next thing we're going to add is just going to be some vocals. So I did find a couple of vocal one-shots in Spliced and it sounds like this. So I'm just going to mess a little bit around with the arrangement and see how it sounds together with the guitar. Alright, so with the vocals we have this. We want to make sure this goes over the second part. Let's quickly add a bass to this as well. Right, so we just had a bass following the root notes. Yeah, that's fire. Fills out the low end nicely. Let's add a quick texture as well. Alright, now the last thing we're going to do to the melody is just fill it out using both a counter melody and maybe a little bit of an accent in the background. So to do this, you guys know I love opening up Arcade. I'm just gonna look through a couple of the presets until we have something nice. Alright, so I did find this preset right here. And what I'm going to do to that preset is first to just pitch it down by 1 octave. And I think throughout the beat, we can just switch in between the pitched down and the pitched up version. Then I'm also going to add a little bit of reverb and a pancake too to pan it from left to right. Yeah, so we want it to be a bit subtle. Yeah, that's fire. Alright, so now that we have the sample finished, let's quickly add some drums. As for all the drum sounds, the textures and everything else that I'm using, they are all coming from my Mirage multi-kit. So if you guys like any of the sounds you hear in this video, you can obviously check out the kit. Now the kit is on my website, which is BBMarko.com, or you guys can just click the first link down below. Start off with a clap pattern, just to get the bounce going. Turn up the velocity a bit as well. Next is the hi-hats. For the hi-hats, I'm actually going to go over to the Euphoria bundle kit, and I'm just going to drag in one of the hi-hat midis I have in the pack. Yeah, so this is fire. Yeah, let's go. Let's add in some open hats as well. That's fire. Copy that over. Need some snares as well. Cool little standard bounce right here. Now I think it's time we add a kick in the 808. Since we already have the bass playing, let's just add the kick first. Yeah, that's fire. Make it a bit busier at the end. Then we are very simply just going to copy paste the kick pattern over to the 808 and just make sure to put the notes on the root note of our melody. A sharp down here. Alright, now with everything done, let's quickly take a listen to the whole beat. And so here we have the full beat.
Shut up, Marco! Marco?
This right here is the intro. Then it drops in. Remove some of the parts in the first section right here. And then we bring back the rest of the melody. And those vocals are crazy. Slow it a bit down again. Here with the kick and the bass together. Bring back some more sections. Counter guitar again. Here come the vocals. So the bridge is pretty much the same as the intro. And it drops.